Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. My name is Zoe and this video is gonna be 4 looks with the Arttitude Ink and Roses palette. So yesterday I already recorded myself doing a look with the greens, which you're gonna see in a bit, but today I really wanted to focus on the grays and I thought why not film the intro. I will also do a look based upon the more like pinky mauve shades, and I will do a more neutral toned look. So today let's do a more grayish grungy look, maybe pop in some burgundy as well because why not, but we'll see along the way. And for this look I first want to start out with the Scribe shade, which is the true gray that's in this palette. So I'm just gonna tap my large brush in to that shade, and I'm just going to apply that right there. This would have matched really nicely with the greens as well, but why not make a separate look? This is a really nice gray. Like, it's like a true gray, like not a warm tone or a cool tone gray, and I feel like it can layer with itself, so you can actually blend the edges out or build the crease up with that same shade if you would want to. Now I'm gonna blend it out a little bit. Now I'm gonna take a more dense brush and take that same shade and just, stamp that in the crease to get a little bit more of a definition. Now, here's the big question. Shall we add in some of the shade Thorn, which looks like this? I think it could be pretty. Okay, we're just gonna do it because I have like a certain idea of what I want this look to be. And I think the shade Thorn will help with that. So I'm just putting that on the outer and inner corner and just darkening that up, just pressing it in and slightly blending it into the crease, like nothing too much. It's not like truly going to build the crease, but just so there's not like a weird harsh line. Just gonna blend that. Does that make sense? I feel like it does. Okay, let's do the other eye. Now let's, move that into the crease a bit. Just connecting those two pieces. And now I'm gonna go over with the big brush with the gray again and just go over that shade. Also on the lid, just completely go over it, but with a tapping kind of motion. So we have a little bit of a grayish hue to those shades. This is the look so far. Now let's go into the shade Inkwell first. This is a very dark, like gunmetal kind of gray. Oh my god, I got it underneath my eye, which is not the palette's fault at all. It's completely my own, but it sucks because you want to create a good look and this is not good, obviously. So I put that metallic all over the Thorn shade as well, so you don't really see that shade anymore, but that was mainly there to deepen and darken up, so it wasn't the goal to be shown. And now I really want to use the shade Blossom, which to you guys looks like a cool tone gray, but there's also some pink in there. Does this look good? What do you guys think? I love that it looks like a silvery look, but then I know from like certain angles it's gonna look slightly pink. Just slightly. Which I think is gonna be so cool. Okay, so I finished up the rest of the look. I did some mascara. I did put 2 shimmers on my lower lash line as well. The darkest in the middle and then the same shade as in the inner and outer corner, on the inner and outer corner on my lower lash line. So for today, I used the shade, I used the shade Scribe right here. Then I used Inkwell all over the lid. Then I used Blossom in the inner corner. And I also used Thorn. I almost forgot myself. I used Thorn on the outer and inner corner to smoke things out. Again, just like yesterday when I did the green look, I really like this look. It's super gorgeous. I would love to also make like a green and gray like combo look, but that's one for later. I'm gonna show you up close what the look turned out to be. Now I'm going to create a look today with the greens, I guess, like the 2 greens over here, and I think with the more gold shimmer. I'm using the green shade called Bloom, which is like a minty green shade, and it shows up very nicely. It shows up a lot more in real life than it does on camera, so I'm gonna look if I can see. I can't seem to adjust the brightness, but it's looking really nice and intense without it being overpowering in real life right here in the mirror. Okay. So that green is on. Now let's take a more dense brush. There we go. And I'm gonna take the shade Wilted, which is a dark green, and I'm just gonna apply that on the outer parts of my eye. Or at least you can't really see when it's even. I'm gonna take that same shape but on the inside, the inner corner, which for now looks a bit crazy, but we're gonna have to trust the process. Okay, now I'm gonna connect the 2, like the outer and the inner part. I'm gonna take just a slight bit of that dark green and just blend that, help make that, what do I want to say? I want to try and have that as like the transition in my crease. So it will be like a bridge between my eyelid and that mint green that we had already going on. Now I do have to say this is more of a warm green, so it's definitely a different tone from that mint. We can blend them into one another, but I do want to go over with that mint a bit to give it still a little bit of that like neutrally cool toned again, instead of it just being like a warm toned green eye look. Okay, so far so great. What shall we do? Do we want to go in with that goldy shade immediately? I think first I want to do a little bit of calligraphy. Help me pronounce words. And I'm just gonna put that on as a liner. I will put this over as well, but I love to underpaint my liner because you already, one, have a guideline for after, putting on your shimmers. 2, because of that, your like eyeliner will be less shimmery. And 3, it will create like a nice dark base. Now I'm gonna take that dark green shade again, Wilted, and I'm just gonna, you know, let that become the rest of the lid. Oh, let me drop that mirror. Okay, wait. My contact lens was like not on my eyeball, so I couldn't see when I closed this eye, because this eye wasn't focusing properly. So I'm just gonna blend that green and brown in a bit again. Make sure we have some sort of blend going on. Do we need a little bit more of that green as a crease? I don't know. Okay, I do think that makes a little bit more sense to get a little bit more depth and to get like a little bit more lightness over there. Okay, now let's take that shimmery shade. I really want to, by the way, this is the messiest video ever. Okay, I used this shade, then this shade, and this shade to line, and now I want to use this shade. Or shall we do, you know, the funny thing is this looks like a silver to you guys, but if I show you this in the mirror, can I? It's actually sort of a pink. I don't know if I can show you this, but it's more of a pink. So I think I'm gonna go with the shade Eternal, which is this gold shade. I'm just gonna apply that. Oh, hello. That's intense. I'm just gonna apply that all over the lid. A little bit goes a very, very, very long way, so I'm just putting on the tiniest bit. Now let me layer a little bit more right here in the inner corner and do the same on the other side. Now also let's do first, let's make it even, you know, before doing anything else. And now let's put a little bit more on the outer corner as well. So I'm just using one shimmer, but in the middle I've blended it in a little bit more, and on the outsides I've, you know, packed it on a bit more. I think I'm gonna go into Wildered, which is that cream shade. No, it's called Wilted. Why do I say Wilder? And I'm just gonna put that over. I'm not dragging too much, mainly just stamping, because, you know, the more you drag, the more the glitters will actually, or like shimmer will actually mix in, and it will make your line metallic, and it's very hard to get it even once it's metallic. So I finished off my look, and this is the finished look situation. Okay, we're back for the third look. So this is look number 3, and I really wanted to do a more neutral look this time around. So I'm mainly gonna play with the browns and the neutral tones, but also some pops of color. And I'm gonna start off with that dark brown shade. Now, I tried to take off the gray look as best as possible because I'm actually filming this on the same day as I did the gray look. So it might look kind of weird, but I tried to take off everything I could take off without, you know, taking off my entire makeup. So that's where we're at. I'm just using the Calligraphy shade, which is a dark deep brown, and I'm just applying that in the inner and outer corner until they almost like meet in the middle. And I'm also gonna just blend that out into that like first part of the crease. I'm just blending what we already had on the brush and taking a little bit extra for this side, since I feel like this side is less dark. I think now we're sort of even. Okay, now let's get into what do we want to do. I'm gonna take a tiny bit of the shade Petal, which is a more muted pink. I'm gonna use that to blend that dark brown shade out, just to give like a more middle shade the task to be the bridge between that dark shade and some lighter neutrals. Oh, I like that. I think this is not too pink. It's like a right, like muted kind of color where it looks mostly neutral. Do a little bit more on this eye. Like that. Now I'm going into the shade Parchment, which, so we used this shade Calligraphy and then this shade Petal, and now we're using this shade Parchment. And I'm just gonna tap that on. That's like my first thing I'm gonna do with the shade. Just tap it on over that sort of pinky shade, just to make sure that we have that neutral undertone coming back. How pretty is this? This is really, really pretty. Now, I want to use the shade Sepia, but I feel like there's some sort of shine to that for some reason, so I'm gonna just put it like in the inner part and the outer part of the crease, or like the eyelid, just to make sure that if it does contain a bit of glitter, we're not losing you know, that build crease and eye shape. My words are making no sense. Maybe I'll cut my talking out. Could be. Now I'm taking a little bit of that pink shade again, that Petal shade, and just pressing that down in the crease, because I went a little bit overboard with that lighter shade, with that Sepia shade. Now I'm taking Parchment again and tapping that over. Now let's, with my fluffy brush, go back into Calligraphy a bit and just blend that upwards slightly. Just, you know, to make sure it's also part of the whole makeup look. We're not supposed to have like a harsh line. It's not what we want. So I think this is good. This is a good base for the shimmers, because for the shimmers, I know what I want to use. I want to use Secret, which is this shade over here, which is more of a pinky shade. And then I want to combine that with this shade that I used for the green look, because the other two I really want to save for like a more purpley, pinky, not neutral look. And I thought this could kind of look neutral blended out. And I think from the looks of it, I was right. I mean, this is like sort of like a rose gold, so it can really function as more of a neutral shade. Like, look at that. That's like a pretty neutral-ish look, isn't it? I think it is. I like it. Now let's put on a little bit of that Eternal shade. This is such a pretty shade. I didn't expect it, but this might be one of my favorite shades in this palette. Well, it's just like a silvery gold. Like a cool tone gold, not even silvery, but it's just, it's something. Like, hello. It's really, really pretty. Now let me do a little bit of that color on the outer corner too. So pretty. Now take that pink shade again and just applying that over a bit, because we still want that shade to be there too. It's still also one of our metallics on the eyelid. We don't want it to just be that gold, because we really want to show this eyeshadow too. Okay, so I'm gonna finish up with some first let's do the bottom lash line and also some liner, because I want to actually line with a shade from the palette. So let me do that first. I'm just gonna take Calligraphy again, the dark brown that I used in the crease and all over the lid, and I'm just gonna apply that very quickly as I would an eyeliner, but more in a stamping motion. I didn't tap off my brush, so I see there's a little bit of like excess powder. That's my fault for like having like quite a dense brush, tapping it into a shadow and then not tapping it off. But I do like the way this is looking. It's giving me what I wanted it to give, which is a nice subtle kind of eyeliner. Let me do some lower lash line action. I think I just want to go for the shade Sepia, which is that light shade that I didn't know what to do with. I'm just going to put that on our lower lash line. Not because I feel like this look necessarily needs a lower lash line, but because I want something to cover up that slight darkness from the previous shade, from the previous look. So I'm just putting that on the lower lash line. And I thought maybe I could do a little bit of that pink called Secret in the middle right there. Just a tiny bit. Just like for the people who really are trying to see it. Like it's not really there, but it is. I feel like... Okay, so I put on some lipstick, some brows, some extra mascara, and this is the finished look. I'm going to show you up close. And we're back with the fourth and final look for with the Ink and Roses palette. And I think I'm going to build it up from dark to light actually. So I'm going to start off with the shade Thorn, and I'm just going to apply that on my outer eye, on my outer corner, and on my inner corner I'm just, stamping that on a bit. It doesn't have to be too neat. So I'm just gonna make that even and just bring it all over the lid. Why not, Isn't that great? I really love this color. I think I've used it in 3 looks right now. I think I used it in the black smoky look, or the gray smoky look, in the neutral look, and now in this look. But now we're gonna go into Roses, which is just such a pretty rosy burgundy kind of shade. I'm just gonna start to build the crease with that shade. We will take it on a fluffier brush in a second, but I just really wanted to connect it to that Thorns shade. Oh, Thorns and Roses. See? That's what I was trying to say in my previous video. It was sort of a shorter video where I was talking about why I love indie palette so much and how much effort they put in everything. You can see it from this, that I'm combining two shades that, you know, in shade name also match. So I put Roses with a bigger, fluffier brush now into that crease as well. And now I'm gonna go over with the shade Love, which is a pinky shade. And I'm just gonna stamp that on. Also, let me know what you think of the editing of this video, because I normally don't really edit my videos. I just upload them, but this obviously is edited because it's filmed over the course of many days. So I hope you guys, you know, like the way I edited this. I'm just gonna take a little bit of that light sepia shade and just put that in inner corner already, and a little bit on the outer corner as well. Just to lighten those places up before I lay down a lighter shimmer in a few seconds. Okay, so the matte look is done pretty quickly. I used Thorns, then Roses, then Love, and a little bit of this shade down here for the inner and outer corner to lighten those up a bit. And now I really want to get into Whisper and Ink because I haven't used those yet. Ink is more of a blue shade, so I think I'm going to put that on the lower lash line and just Whisper on the lid. Which, it is a pink, but like true blue reflects. That's so gorgeous. I'm trying to not put on too much, because you could definitely layer this and have it be like fully blinding, but I want that pink to peek through a bit. Because the base of this shade, this shimmer shade, is also pink, but the reflect is more so blue. So if we, you know, make sure the color underneath and the base color are peeking through, I think it will match with like the mattes a little bit more. I think this is pretty. Now, what I want to do is I'm gonna take that ink shade on a fluffier brush. This is quite a crumbly shade, like a more flaky shade, which I don't mind at all. But just be careful if you, like me, are picking it up with a fluffier brush, because obviously more flaky shades are a little bit more difficult to pick up with a fluffier brush. But I did really want to use this shade today. Also because then I think we've used every single shade in this palette on camera. That's great. Like that, now we're really, I'm really trying to put more, well, first of all, I'm trying to be more confident with the things I create, because I can be so self-conscious that I will record like 5 videos and not upload any of them. But at the same time, I really am trying to get more out of creating content. I love creating content, and I would love to keep on doing that even when my summer break is over and I have periods in time where I do, you know, upload a lot of content, and then, you know, there's silence from my side again, and I just really want to keep it going. So I'm trying to also get into more depth when it comes to my videos, and I think this is a good example of that I'm really trying to see if I can make not just one look, but like multiple looks. And I'm not going to do this with every single palette, but someone requested looks with this palette, and I thought, you know, why not do more than one? So okay, I think this is almost finished. I'm going to do a little bit of liner. Oh, by the way, if you're wondering, I also put a little bit of that eternal shade in my inner and outer corner, just to give it a little bit more of that light reflection. I'm gonna take the shade Thorn and just use that as a lighter. In the last clip, my contact lens actually fell out, so I'm really hoping that doesn't happen. Let me give you the final verdict on this palette. I now did 4 looks, a neutral look, a gray look, a green look, and a purple pink look. And so now that I've used every single shade in the palette at least once, I think I can tell you this palette is such good quality. It has amazing shimmers, amazing mattes. Like today my matte look was done in like, I feel like a minute or something. It was so quick, so easy to blend, so easy like to just throw on. I think the quality of this palette, it feels nice and heavy. The packaging is really, really pretty. Everything information wise is on the back, so not just on the sleeve if you don't want to keep that. And if you like this color story, or you want something different but not like screaming bright neons, I think this is such a gorgeous palette. I highly recommend it. I'm gonna use this many more times. Even though now I made 4 looks with it, I'm not tired of it yet. I still feel like I can, like, I would love to recreate some of the looks I already did, but also I would love to see like if I can make like a neutral green look, or like a green purple rosy look, or like a neutral with like a with, for example, Whisper as like the lower lash line. I still have a lot of ideas of things I can do with this palette that I have already done or have not yet done. I really would love to check out some more from Arttitude, because this is where it's at, you guys. This is where it's at. So I'm gonna show you this final look up close because I didn't do that yet. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. I'm really trying to make content that you guys would love to see. So don't forget to comment anything you want to see as well, because this video was inspired by someone that commented. So if you want to see anything, please let me know. Don't forget to, you know, come back next time, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.